people who died because of you. You abandoned your kingdom, and you abandoned your son.
Who the fuck is Thomas Shelby?
Once,
the story begins in 1940 at a concentration camp in Germany, where prisoners are forced to counterfeit British pounds. The Nazi government plans to smuggle the fake money into Great Britain to flood the economy and help win the war. The operation is led by John Beckett. The scene shifts to the Birmingham small arms factory, where a woman arrives for her birthday shift. As her co-workers begin singing, a German bomb suddenly destroys the building. Next, we meet Thomas Shelby. His associate Johnny tells him that a gypsy family fleeing the bombing crossed onto his land. Tommy orders that no one be allowed near his house. Johnny also mentions that a woman recognized Tommy from the past, calling him the Rumbero, the king of all gypsies. Tommy ignores a phone call, but then notices a red scarf outside, his late daughter Ruby's. He imagines her spirit playing in the garden and later places the scarf on his brother Arthur's grave. Johnny informs him that his sister Ada has arrived. Now a member of parliament, Ada confronts Tommy, saying he has neglected his living family. She tells him his son Charles is fighting in North Africa, while his other son, Duke, is running the Peaky Blinders recklessly. She urges Tommy to return and stop him. Tommy admits he has been seeing visions since Arthur's death and feels mentally unstable. If you made it this far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. At the Birmingham factory, men claiming to be special constables, led by Duke, force their way in and seize weapons, including guns and explosives. When Ada arrives to pay respects to the victims, the crowd blames the Peaky Blinders for the tragedy. At the Garrison pub, Duke meets John Beckett, who shows him counterfeit money and proposes using criminal networks like the Peaky Blinders to distribute it.
Be ready for the anarchy that comes after.
I'm ready.
In return, Duke would receive a large share. Beckett says Berlin would prefer to deal with Tommy, but Duke insists he is now in charge and shows his defiance. Meanwhile, Tommy returns home to find a woman named Carlo inside. She claims her dead twin sister is speaking through her. Tommy realizes the sister is Zelda, a woman he knew in the past, and learns that Duke is his son. Carlo warns that Duke is involved with dangerous people and urges Tommy to return and save him in exchange for peace of mind. Ada later confronts Duke, accusing him of stealing medical supplies and leading dangerous operations. Duke dismisses her, saying he is building something bigger than what his father ever had. Ada decides to report him, but is warned that only Tommy can stop him. At the same time, Tommy is haunted by visions of his war days. Carlo appears again, channeling Zelda, who speaks about Ruby and Arthur. She offers to tell Tommy what Arthur said before his death, but only if Tommy agrees to help their son. Tommy refuses, insisting he is no longer that man. Zelda tells Tommy she will make him the man he once was, not just through words. They spend the night together and remember meeting at a fair, the same day Duke was born. Meanwhile, after the bombing, people gather in public shelters. Ada asks the crowd for witnesses to testify against Duke for the factory robbery. At the same time, John arrives with Virgil, deputy head of the British Fascist League, to evaluate Duke. Duke explains his plan to transport counterfeit money using canal boats that are never searched. Virgil demands certainty, but John reveals Virgil has been compromised. Duke shoots Virgil, and on John's instruction, empties the gun into him. John assures Duke there will be no consequences and tells him to go to Liverpool the next day to collect the money. Meanwhile, Carlo reveals to Tommy that Arthur was not alone the night he died. Tommy realizes the truth. He was there. He recalls Arthur being unstable and high, mistaking him for the devil. Tommy finally admits that Arthur's death was not an accident. Carlo tells him he cannot save Arthur or Ruby, but he can still save his son. The next morning, Carlo is gone. Tommy places the red scarf back on Arthur's grave and prepares to return. Johnny offers to go with him. Elsewhere, John warns Duke that Ada is gathering evidence and will report him, leaving him with a choice: wealth or execution. As Ada heads to the military police, Duke follows her, intending to shoot, but he cannot pull the trigger. Suddenly, John appears and shoots Ada. At the same moment, Tommy senses her death. The police confirm it, and Tommy sends Johnny to guard her body. Tommy goes to the garrison pub, where younger members do not recognize him. When one threatens him, Tommy uses a grenade to kill him instantly. He then confronts Duke, accusing him of betrayal and crimes. Duke denies killing Ada but admits his actions come from the life Tommy left him. They fight, and Tommy forces him to talk. Duke reveals details about Ada's driver and the plan behind the attack. At the mortuary, Tommy prepares for revenge, knowing the killer will come. He instructs Johnny to pass a message to Duke to return the stolen weapons. Standing over Ada's body, Tommy confesses that he killed Arthur intentionally, not by accident, because he wanted freedom. He promises that something good will come from this. Soon after, John arrives at the mortuary. As Tommy steps outside, the two open fire on each other. During the confrontation, John declares that Hitler has a plan. John insists his plan is a good one, fighting the war with counterfeit money instead of bombs, and says everything corrupt must be cut out so something better can grow. Tommy warns him his gun is nearly out of bullets. After firing his last rounds, John releases horses to create chaos and escapes. Tommy mounts a horse and rides through the city after him, with people recognizing and greeting him along the way. If you made it this far, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. At the same time, Kali speaks to Duke, telling him his father will return and that this is his chance to rise as king. She suggests that Tommy seeks peace and that only a bullet can give it to him, hinting that Duke may have to kill him.
I promised him peace.
When Tommy later arrives at the pub, Duke appears cooperative. Together, they honor Ada by cremating her according to gypsy traditions. That night, Duke secretly contacts John and offers information about Tommy's movements in exchange for the promised $70 million. Meanwhile, Tommy meets Stagg, who controls the Liverpool docks. He explains that the warehouse holds something dangerous that could change the outcome of the war. Tommy forms a plan. His men will travel by barge to attack, while he uses an old tunnel to reach John and strike at the same time. Before leaving, Tommy writes in his book that Duke is his natural heir, but that this night will test his true character. He asks Kali to read his palm, and she tells him he will find peace.
Your heart broken twice?
Tommy reveals he has long suspected her intentions and believes she came as a sign of death. She tells him that by the end of the night, either he or Duke will die. As the plan begins, Duke gives John false details about the attack. In reality, Tommy's men have already abandoned the boats, leaving only Stagg behind to trigger an explosion. Meanwhile, Tommy moves through an old tunnel that suddenly collapses, trapping him. Fighting through pain and hallucinations, he manages to free himself just minutes before midnight. Stagg reaches the warehouse and sets off a massive explosion, destroying many of John's mercenaries. As chaos unfolds, John turns on Duke, accusing him of betrayal.
What have you done?
Duke admits he considered betraying his father, but chose not to. At the same time, Tommy sets another explosion, destroying the counterfeit money. His men arrive and eliminate the remaining enemies. John tries to escape in his car, but Tommy stands in his path. They exchange gunfire, and Tommy ultimately shoots John in the head, killing him. However, Tommy is badly wounded. He hands his gun to Duke and insists he used the bullet meant for him.
Use the bullet she gave you. No. Use the bullet she gave you, son. Go on. No. Go on. Fuck.
Duke hesitates, but eventually obeys, shooting Tommy. As Tommy dies, Duke takes control, ordering the remaining money to be burned. Later, at Tommy's funeral, Kali gives Duke Tommy's book. In it, Tommy leaves symbolic instructions for his belongings and reflects on his family. His body is cremated, his ashes scattered, and his story finally comes to an end.